You're listening to Operation Self-Reset, how to become more enthusiastic. What is going on, you freaking awesome people? Welcome back to Operation Self-Reset. My name is Jake Rocky, coming to you live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where each every week we dive into a different topic in the world of personal development. I'm not a guru. I'm not the one-stop shop. I appreciate you guys for taking time to listen, to find out how you can become more enthusiastic. Wouldn't that be amazing if you could just wake up every day and turn it on like a light switch? But before we get into that content, let's take a second to thank our sponsor. Today's show, Operation Self-Reset, is brought to you by Health IQ. To get the lowest rates possible in your life insurance, go to healthiq.com or talk to one of the representatives and let them know Operation Self-Reset sent you over there to Health IQ. Again, Health IQ is for health-conscious individuals that are looking to get amazing rates on their life insurance. So, with that being said, let's get into content for today. Today is about how to become more enthusiastic. All right, enthusiasm is one of those things that you may think you either have it or you don't. You get it when you drink coffee or when you end up having an amazing workout or amazing news. You find out the person you likes you back. The post you made on Facebook gets 10 thumbs up from people. A YouTube video you posted gets 100 hits in an hour, whatever the case may be. We have these moments of enthusiasm that roll over our body. And the unique part is one, it happens to all of us. Our bodies are designed to have fun and loving energy, and enthusiasm is kind of that wrapped all in one. But also, too, a majority of us, though, for some odd reason, are not living an enthusiastic life. Now, we all know probably why, right? Maybe we don't care for our job. We don't care for our relationships. The weather isn't always the best. We don't live in the best place. We have older clothes, old car, not healthy food, not reading the right books. We're hanging around with the bad people. And as you know, enthusiasm is kind of like the temperature gauge. Some days it's really hot and it's scorching, aka your enthusiasm is scorching, and other days it's really cold, dark, and dreary, and you're not really prevalent in the world of enthusiasm. So how am I qualified to be enthusiastic? Well, I'm really not. I'm not the qualified guru, unfortunately, but I am qualified because I have worked with countless people that are enthusiastic every waking moment of the day. Now, you'd be thinking, well, how do you know if they are enthusiastic every moment of the day? Well, if you don't know, I work for the fire department, and in the fire service, we work 24-hour shifts. We get to work at 8 a.m. in the morning. We stay there until 8 a.m. the next day. So literally, I am working with people for 24 hours straight. Now, during that 24-hour time, I'm pretty much by them consistently. We cannot leave the firehouse unless we go out on emergency. We do training together. We eat together. We sleep not together in different rooms. Some people sleep in a dormitory. Some people sleep in an office. What have you? We go on runs together, and we do all different types of stuff. And throughout that time period, you can tell the normal human behavior on a person. In the morning, everybody is usually ready to go. They're awakened, they've taken a shower, they got their coffee, they're feeling good conversation, a lot of joyful attitudes. And as the day progresses, depending on how rigorous the day is, of course, we get beaten down, we get, tired and, just kind of worn out. And as the evening hours continue and we're up in the middle of the night, we're not usually the most happiest campers, but we do what we do best, and that's go on runs and help people and different types of stuff like that. But throughout that process, I have literally witnessed a few people. Now, in the course of my last 14 years, I have worked with hundreds, if not thousands of people, right? During that course of the 14 years, there are two people that I can literally pinpoint and say that those people were enthusiastic from 8 a.m. to the next 8 a.m. Now, the question is, how are they enthusiastic during that time period? I really don't know. It's a very awkward question to ask somebody. Excuse me, coworker, I notice you're very enthusiastic. Why are you so enthusiastic? But I can say this. The person it was a female, actually. It was a female that was very enthusiastic. And the one thing that I can say that she did differently than a majority of the coworkers that I worked with throughout the course of the last 14 years is that she was a health freak. And she obviously ate what or watched what she ate, but she wasn't like a vegan or some crazy diet. She just loved to work out. She was a cross-country runner. She did triathlons. Just a behemoth of a woman that was amazing energy, loved to work out, loved to care for people, and just had an amazing attitude. And she literally was enthusiastic for 24 plus hours. And I know she carried that into her personal life because anytime you would see her out and about, she just had this aura. And isn't it amazing that when you work with somebody or know somebody that's enthusiastic and you see them or you come across them, their enthusiasm pours onto you. You feel a little better. You feel like you got to keep up with their energy. You feel like you got to bring your best self. You kind of almost feel like awake with them. It's a unique feeling because you know that they're going to bring enthusiasm, and so that's going to lift your spirits up, right? As we know, we are creatures of habit. We are creatures of reflection. Inside of our brains, we have these little neurons called the mirror neurons. And mirror neurons are nothing more than what we see, we become. And the reason why this is important, because when we were children, infants, for example, infants obviously can't talk. They use some body language, but for the most part, when they see somebody smile at them, they will smile back because of the mirror neurons that are within the front portion of our brain. And so that reflects not only as we're infants, but as we get older too. Because like I said, when you come across an enthusiastic individual, they'll shall you. I'm trying to use some like proper English. I just got done reading a book, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. It's very classical, very in-depth Old English. It was written with an Old English kind of flair to it, and I'm trying to use Old English in my speaking now for some odd reason, I guess, because the mirror neurons are telling me to do so. But nonetheless, we are able to see it in children, and the same apply to us. The mirror neurons are still there. Obviously, what we see on a consistent basis, we become, and it's one of those things that if you hang around enthusiastic people, you shall become enthusiastic. As I tried again, totally messed it up. So the question is, how do you become more enthusiastic? How do you become more enthusiastic? Now, unfortunately, there is no one-stop shop. Unfortunately, it's not drink a cup of coffee a day and continue drinking coffee throughout the day, because we know with caffeine, it's finite. It will lose its luster. And as you continuously drink more coffee, your body gets acclimated to more coffee. So then you have to drink more coffee on top of that. And chances are during that period, you are not going to feel your best self. You may have your highs and lows, but you're not going to have this consistent buzz, right? And then you're probably thinking, well, Jake, I drink bulletproof coffee. That's when I put butter in my coffee. It keeps me jacked up for the next 10 hours. Okay, well, very good, but that's a stimulant, right? What if we said, how do you keep yourself enthusiastic without any stimulants? Without having alcohol in your system, without having caffeine or any other type of stimulant that may alter your natural self? How do you become more enthusiastic? Well, fortunately for you, I've been reading this book. I say that as in you guys really need to read this book, but you haven't, so I'm going to read it for you. But there's a book called The Mind-Gut Connection, and I'm writing this new book on. It's called Emotional Warfare. It's talking about the emotions that go on inside of our brain that dictate the decisions that we make for us to become achievers or non-achievers. And so the question is, when I started writing the book, I believed and I knew that a lot of feelings and emotions are dictated through obviously our experiences, but then also are filtered into our mind, which then alter the way that we do things in our life. And so as my research and ideas continued, I came across this book, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to read it. I dove into it, and it absolutely blew my mindset. It blew the way I thought out of the water. And the biggest takeaway that I can suggest to you is this: the gut is more controlling of your emotions and decisions than you think. I'm going to say that one more time. If you're not paying attention, pull it in here for a second. Your gut controls more emotions and decisions than you think. And you think to yourself, okay, why is that possible? Well, number one, did you know that your gut contains 50 to 100 million nerves? And these nerves are as complex and as robust as the same nerves that are in your spinal column. Interesting. Did you know that there is a thick band of nerves that go from your gut to your brain? And did you know that your gut talks to your brain, but your brain cannot talk to your gut? Did you know that 90% of your serotonin is derived and generated from your gut? Now, serotonin is the mood, I guess you would call it like chemical that is released in your body. Now, mood contains a lot of different keywords, from feeling happy to feeling sad to all different types of things. But serotonin usually controls the good side, not so much the negative side. And now, just as a disclaimer, before you start suing me, I am not a doctor. I read this in a book. Okay, so let's be serious. The gentleman who wrote it, I can't remember his name. He's a doctor. He's done very heavy research. It's a very research-driven book, very well documented, a lot of different studies from different universities. But the unique part is, and I'm just repeating what was said in the book, so I'm not making this stuff up on my own, is that a lot of psychologists, that people come in with depression or anxiety, they come in and the psychologist treats them for the disease, and he gives them a medication. The medication is to help with usually the neurotransmitters within the brain. It either opens or closes receptors in the brain to obviously deter the depression, anxiety. But a majority, 90% of it, 90% of the good serotonin that is generated in the gut. And so what they have found out is, through research and documentation and all different types of stuff, is that usually people that have some type of illness, they're not attacking the right thing. They're attacking the mind, but they should be attacking the gut. There's leaky gut syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome. There's a whole case and slew of all different types of issues that go on with the gut. And a lot of doctors are bypassing that because it's a little more complex to look at, right? And so what I'm trying to say out of this is that if you want a little more enthusiasm, you need to take care of not only your mind, but also your gut. And so the first step, that instead of saying, here's 5 ways to increase your enthusiasm, number 1 would be gut health. There's a lot of research, a lot of stuff online right now. It's kind of the new cutting edge stuff, and it's been out for a while, so I'm not saying anything like really earth-breaking here. You need to take care of your gut. And how do you take care of your gut? Number 1, probiotics is absolutely key. I never believed in it. I thought probiotics was a hoax. I was like, how can there be live probiotics, microbes inside of yogurt or pills or whatever? But truly, it is a magical piece of work that us as humans have been able to create, and it's not a hoax, it's real stuff. By taking probiotics, you're basically feeding the microorganisms within your gut, and you're allowing them to thrive. You're basically feeding them the exact formula that they need to feel good. And if your gut is good, your body's going to feel good. Your body feels good. Enthusiasm can just flourish in you. Now, the second part about this, number 1, probiotics. The second part is obviously drinking live or eating live cultures. Live cultures are basically living probiotics as opposed to dormant, chemically generated probiotics. Now, those are found in kefir, which is like a fermented yogurt. You can find them in yogurt itself, like organic whole milk yogurt. There's smaller amounts of probiotics in there in live cultures. Apple cider vinegar, sauerkraut, anything that has been fermented, pickles, stuff like that. Now, again, do your own research. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a health expert, but I've been doing this for maybe the last month and a half. I've been taking care of my gut. My body has been responding very well. Do I feel amazing? Is my enthusiasm flourishing to the 10th degree? No, but I will say this. The one thing that I have found a difference is, number 1, I'm not as irritable as before. Now, you may be thinking, Jake, you seem like such a positive gentleman. Why would you get irritated? Well, I have 3 young kids. I'm juggling many things, and as we all know, there's some days you rock it, some days you're a little more irritable than others. And I will say my irritable body has calmed down. I do feel a more calmer sense, and also more of a consistent kind of like even keel sense. I'm not really high or low. I don't crash. I have consistent energy. That's something that I've obviously been working on for a while. Now, previous podcasts, I've been working on my mitochondria, which are basically the cells, taking the right nutrients and supplements to work on the cells. Now, does that help too? Of course. Also, too, I live a very active lifestyle. I work out every single day. I watch what I put into my body. Does that help? Of course, too. So, again, your results may vary. By you eating or taking probiotics, eating live cultures, but yet you're, following up and chasing it with McDonald's and laying on the couch for 20 hours out of the day, that's not going to be ideal, right? So obviously try to do your best to live a healthy, conscious lifestyle, and that shall flourish well within the perspectives of your lifestyle. So with that being said, okay, so we got that taken care of. The gut issue taken care of. Personally, I found benefits from it. A lot of people have found benefits from it. I hope that you give it a try. Probiotics, the pills or chewables are a little expensive, but again, would it be worth having good serotonin released throughout your body? I would say so without taking medication. I think, you know what, I raise my hand. I would appreciate that personally. So give it a try if you want to flourish in your enthusiasm. Hey guys, sorry for the interruption, but I want to talk about our sponsor. Today's show, Operation Self Reset, is brought to you by Health IQ. Health IQ is an insurance company that helps healthy, conscious people like runners, cyclists, weightlifters, and vegetarians get lower rates on their life insurance. Go to healthiq.com/reset to support the show and to see if you personally qualify. Did you know 56% of Health IQ customers save between 4 and 33% on their life insurance? These savings are only exclusive to Health IQ. Like saving money on your car insurance for being a good driver, Health IQ saves you money on your life insurance for living a healthy, conscious lifestyle. Again, if you are in the market for life insurance, head on over to Health IQ. Truly, they will give you the best price available, especially if you're an individual that takes care of him or herself. Again, life insurance is one of those things that's not really sexy or attractive because, again, it's not something that you're really going to benefit from, but you will have peace of mind if something goes terribly wrong in the future. And so you want to make sure all your bases are covered for you and your loved ones. So with that being said, again, head on over to healthiq.com/reset to see if you personally qualify. Thank you for listening. Now back to the show. The second thing is this. You need to have the intention of enthusiasm. Now, it's easier said than done. Recently, I gave a presentation on communication. During that presentation, the big highlight, I guess my big keyword was intention. You need to have intention if you want to have a good conversation. A lot of people walk into places with the intention to do something, as in you walk into the grocery store with the intention to buy food. You go to a movie theater with the intention to watch a movie. You go to the gym with the intention of working out, right? And a lot of us usually go places with the intention to do whatever that chore or thing is. We go to work, well, with the intention of working, but a lot of us don't have the intention of working. A lot of us go to work just to work, and then with the intention of trying to get home as soon as we can with the intention to watch Netflix or hang out otherwise. But because you are over an achiever and because you're listening to this podcast, I know that you're looking for something a little deeper. So for you personally, if you're looking to increase your enthusiasm, I would say this. Number one, you need to have the intention of bringing enthusiasm into your life. Now, how do you go about doing that? Intention is nothing more than basically understanding that today when I wake up, I'm going to bring enthusiasm. I'm going to try my best to wake up on the right side of the bed. I'm going to try my best to smile, to show teeth, to shake hands, to appreciate, give compliments, all those things that we know we should be doing, but we never do because number one, it's kind of weird. There's not too many people walking on work. One day they're kind of a jerk. The next day they're giving you high fives, smiling with their teeth showing and giving compliments left and right. And then the next day they're kind of a jerk again. That doesn't seem right. That seems like an imbalance of chemicals released in the mind. But we need to have intention of at least trying to be enthusiastic to the people that we care for. It's not easy because we usually are built off of comfort and habit, and chances are the reason why you're with the people you are is because you feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable with them, you're not going to bring anything new to them as enthusiasm because they know who you are. They know your true colors inside and out. And if you start to wake up and be overly joyful, it might turn them off or be like, dude, there's something wrong with you. What's going on? So the question I have for you is, what type of intention do you want to bring into your workplace, into your health, into your wellness, into your mindset, into your overall well-being? The choice is truly yours. So it's one of those things that you need to personally decide, because if you're able to decide with your intention, you'll be able to go out there and serve better whatever facet that you want to. So that's number 2. The third would be the simple things. Now, the reason why I say they're simple things because they're things that you and I can do on a consistent, regular basis. They are simple because they don't cost us any money. There's no weird thing that we have to go and get. It's not something weird body position we have to do. It is basically nothing more than when I go here, I act like this. Now, the reason why I say this is because it's called basically triggers of doorways, triggers of escalators, triggers of phone calls, triggers of pens. Whatever trigger that you use on a regular basis, you need to start setting and saying that every time I pick up the phone at my work, I'm going to be joyful, happy, and love what I do. Now, it depends on what you do personally. Now, if you are a sales individual, don't you think it would be very worthwhile for you to pick up the phone with a joyful, happy attitude to call new prospects? Of course. If you were a chef, for example, and every time you started chopping up onions and you know you hate onions to the 10th degree, would it be a little bit better for you and your coworkers if you walked in and said, you know what, today when I'm chopping onions, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to chop a little quicker or easier, make sure my chopping is perfect, as opposed to just pushing through and getting it over with. Wouldn't that intention be a little more, wouldn't that trigger be a little more beneficial to you and your coworkers? Obviously, yes. And so there's different triggers that you and I can set around our house, workplace, fitness, outside, car, office. It really doesn't matter. And so the question I have for you is, what triggers do you want to set? Now, if you worked at a job or a career that was absolutely irritating and it was very challenging for you every single day, and every day you walked into your office and you just gave a this is really dragged out, I hate this, and blah, blah, blah. Is your outcome going to be great? Is your enthusiasm going to just pour out of you? Of course not. But if you try to know that, okay, I can hate my job until I walk to my cubicle, and then once I'm in my cubicle, I'm going to make it rain in there. I'm just going to have a blast. I'm going to enjoy it the best I can for the next 5, 7, 8 hours, whatever the case may be. Will that trigger happen and be a little more beneficial over the next days, weeks, and months? Probably and hopefully. Because enthusiasm is not something that you can take. It's not anything that you can just take a pill of enthusiasm and you have enthusiasm for 8 hours and then it dissipates. You need to personally create it. You need to create it like a cake. It takes pieces and ingredients to go into the cake at the right order for it to work out into this awesome, delicious goodie that you put into your Easy Bake Oven. Who here remembers that Easy Bake Oven, right? I remember it. I mean, you mix like the pack with water and then you put it over a light bulb, and like 10 minutes later you got yourself one brownie. It was pretty awesome. Anyway, so with that, it's one of those things. Enthusiasm, obviously we know that, and you're here because you want to become more enthusiastic. Number 1, take care of your gut and your health. Number 2, set triggers. And number 3, the best thing that you can do to create your enthusiasm is obviously to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. It's something that I preach here in the podcast personally. But off of that, you need to give compliments. Now, here's the science or the secret sauce behind a compliment. The only way for you to generate the courage to give a compliment is for you to get into a good state of mind. Because A, you're going to be talking to somebody. Number 2, B, you're going to be complimenting them on something that you personally enjoy. Shoes, belt, watch, earrings, dress, haircut, glasses, whatever the case may be. Penmanship, organizational skills, email, footers, jokes, whatever you want to compliment somebody on, you need to get in the right frame of reference for you to generate that confidence for you to share that compliment to that individual. Because if you were to give let's flip the script a little bit. If you were to give a very condescending, angry, disheartening, fireable message to somebody, would you be joyful and energetic? Chances are, no, you wouldn't. But because you're giving a compliment, you are going to be generating the enthusiasm needed to kind of put that onto a paper airplane and send it off to that individual in a very nice, caring, mannered way, as opposed to a very hurtful way, right? So the science behind it is that if you you want to generate more enthusiasm, you need to give a compliment. By you giving a compliment, you're going to figure out what compliment you're going to give to that individual. Once you figure it out, you're going to deliver it naturally in a very nice, poetic, kind of enthusiastic way because it is a compliment that is going to benefit them. They're going to receive that compliment. Their body is going to react differently. Their body posture is going to pep up a little bit. They're going to smile. They're going to say thank you. They're going to appreciate that compliment, and they're throwing good waves of energy towards you, and by that, it's going to feed that enthusiasm that you created by giving that compliment, and bam, wham, thank you, ma'am, you got yourself a whole new person. Now, again, results may vary. Again, this is going to be tough for you, but again, if you want to do something different, if you want to become a little more enthusiastic, you need to challenge yourself to get outside of your comfort zone. One thing I want to say as a caveat to the whole personal development space, are you guys ready? Are you guys listening? Is this. Number one, wait. First off, before I share it with you guys, I want you guys to sit up straight. I want you to take a deep breath. And I want you just to check in with your body real quick. Maybe rock your shoulders front and back, move your neck around, kind of rotate your shoulders, push your chest out, your shoulders back. We're not going to do the awesome sauce yet, but I want you to just kind of move your body a little bit, okay? I want you to get in tune with who you are, where you're at right here, right now. This podcast is Operation Self Reset. Every single second we have the opportunity to do a little reset. Let's do a body reset. Real quick, it's just sitting up straight. It's just feeling good. Deep breath again. Here we go. In, hold it, and out. Oh, jeez, Jake, I didn't know if you're going to tell me to let it out. I was going to hold it forever. Anyway, let's get back to the point here. The whole caveat with the personal development space, thank you very much for participating with that little exercise. The whole personal battle that I have with the personal development space is this. I've been checking it out. I've been researching it like anybody else, and everything is steps. 3 steps for this, 10 steps for that, live a better life in 30 ways, whatever the case may be. And you know what probably I and you are doing when we read these articles? We're not actually reading the articles. We're just looking for the big, bold letters. What's step number 15? Smile. Cool. All right, I'll try that. Not. Step number 16. Go out there and become better. I tried it once. Didn't really work. Next. Step number 17. Wiggle your ears and stick your fingers in your eyes until they water, which will release a chemical to make you smile. Not going to happen. Don't like pain. Next. Step number 18. Step on your own toes until they turn black and blue, which will release a unique chemical out of your blood cells that will, the free radicals will go to your brain to stimulate your body, and the response mechanism will make you smile. I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up. But you see where I'm going here? We're not really even wired to read the stuff anymore. We're just looking at bullet points. You know, the titles are probably the most attractive part to these articles. Then we read the articles, and there's nothing in there. It's just general things that we've been hearing. Now, you may think to yourself, Jake, sorry to cut it to you, buddy. Your podcast is the same way. Well, I apologize if it is. I'm going to try better in 2018 here to get a little unique approach and to alter that a little bit. So if you have any suggestions on how I can alter that and become better at it, let me know personally. I would love to make it more entertaining and more positive in the world of personal development. Let me know what your thoughts are with that. Send me an email. That'd be appreciated. Jake@operationselfreset.com. So, sorry, I itched my lip there a little bit. The microphone got a little close. I apologize. So the question is, how do we become more enthusiastic? That is the question of the hour. It's really a decision. Number one, take care of your overall well-being, gut health, give it a try. Again, I'm not a doctor. It helped me a little bit. I think it could help you. It could be a placebo approach. I don't know, but so far so good. Number 2, you have to have intentions. Number 3, you need to have triggers. Number 4 would be to give a compliment. And what's the last thing of being more enthusiastic? Is loving you, I would have to say. I know it's kind of a fluffy, love yourself and pick a daisy and smell it and then bring it inside of your house and put it in a jar. And every time you look at it and you just realize, oh my gosh, that is from outside where nature grew it. And then next thing you know, it dies, and then you keep it and you laminate it, and then you put it on your wall and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to forget that moment that I picked a daisy in my backyard and then bring it in the house, and then it died, and then laminated, and now it's on my wall, right? Okay, I get it. Kumbaya, hold hands, the cha-cha-cha. But the truth is, be comfortable in your skin. Love thyself. Take care of thyself. What does that mean? Do something that makes you feel freaking awesome. What is that for you? It may be good, healthy food, a delicious shake. Maybe, you know what, even splurge a little bit and get a little freaky naughty and watch yourself, watch a Netflix video or something that absolutely lights you up like a Christmas tree. But understand that that's not the lifestyle that you choose, and you know that it's a guilty pleasure, and you're going to reward yourself for giving a compliment today, whatever the case may be. So go out there and do that. I would recommend it. And the last thing, there's nothing that I can say that can generate enthusiasm. Some people are wired a little different. Some people are a little funnier, outgoing, they have this charisma, but that doesn't mean that you are bad. It doesn't mean that because you don't have that gene or that DNA strand that you're a bad person, or you're not cool, or you're not funny, or anything like that. All I can say is you have a unique skill set that nobody else has. And too many times we're caught up in the have-nots instead of the have. And stop worrying about the things that you don't have. Start worrying about the things that you do have that you don't focus in on enough. And that is the truth. So many of us are trying to conform to the society and be outgoing and all that stuff. And you know what? If you're not the outgoing type, then you got to rock it in a different way. There was a nice lady that I was talking to the other night, and she understood that she was more of a night owl instead of a early morning riser. And she was like, you know what? I know I should rise up early because everybody does it and they say it's great and all this stuff. And you know what? There probably is some truth to that, and there are probably some good documented research. But if she was to wake up early, that means she would have to go to bed early. But she enjoys her evening hours because that's when she's the most productive. And anybody that is creative understands that if you want to be in that flow state, if you want to find that state where you can just accomplish so many different types of things, you need to find that state where you just dominate. And that dominating area is called the flow state. And if you find the flow state late at night, then rock it. I'm not going to tell you to conform otherwise, because that is your DNA strand singing to the praises right then and there. And instead of conforming and dialing back and going to bed early and waking up early and trying to get into that rhythm, for weeks on end, you hate it and you're just groggy and all that stuff, I say rock who you are. I'm more for 2018. I think the thing that I need to focus in on more is to become more of you, to bring the best you forward. And a reset is good, and I think a reset is understanding of how we can improve and all those different types of things. I agree with it full-heartedly. Obviously, that's why I created this podcast. But I think we need to focus in on a little more you, focus in more on what is your benefits, what are your strengths, and to rock those a little harder. Throughout the course of the year, of course, I'm going to tell you ways to change and, how to get better and goals and, upgrade yourself. Cool, all good stuff. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, you are you. And if you want to get better, you know the ways how. If you choose to stay who you are, then rock the socks out of it, and you better rock the bejesus out of it. You better not be crying on one day and saying, I hate myself, and then the next day you better be loving yourself. You better be loving yourself full-heartedly every single day. If you're able to do that, then I give you the hall pass to go out there and to rock you. But if you're the person that flip-flops daily and you're angry one day and loves the next day, then you got to figure yourself out. That's the first thing. So maybe that's a whole nother podcast. I'm sorry to get a little aggressive there at the end. As I realize as I'm talking to my computer. But you need to generate that in different facets. So those are my ways to become more enthusiastic. Again, I think the biggest is to have the intention. The second biggest would be to create the gut health wellness benefit of taking care of probiotics and live cultures. Triggers, I say, would be good. It's going to be hard to implement for you. You need to set reminders for those triggers, because if you don't set reminders, you're going to walk into your space and forget that you set a trigger for that space. So that's going to be a little more work on your end. But if you're able to do that, it can truly work out. The other thing would be, compliments. I think they're key. I think they're really beneficial. Again, though, it's going to be challenging. So maybe start with the easy things first. intention, gut health, and when everything starts to solidify and start moving in the right direction, then move on to the other things that you can dominate in. So with that being said, it is time. For the last couple of weeks, I've kind of been slacking. I apologize. It is time to do the awesome sauce. The awesome sauce is nothing more than when you stand in a position of power and you put your arms overhead and you scream at the top of your lungs, I'm freaking awesome. The whole reason for screaming I'm freaking awesome is because when was the last time that you gave yourself the benefit of the doubt that you truly are freaking awesome inside and out? Like I said, too many times we're focusing on the things that we don't have. You got to start focusing on the things that you do have. And the thing that you do have is awesomeness within you. And for some odd reason, some way, somehow, you are not letting that spill out into your life. And it is time for 2018 to let that beast, that dog out of the cage for you to go and thrive and live an amazing lifestyle. So with that being said, on the count of 3, if you're driving, if you're sitting, I want you to squeeze your legs, sit up straight with your chest out, shoulder blades back, with your arms overhead. If you're standing, widen your stance, turn your legs or your feet out. Have a wide stance, arms up, chest out, chin up, eyes closed. Well, if you're driving, don't close your eyes, please. The whole reason for closing your eyes, you're not letting other distractions irritate what is going on internally. Do a little self-check here, and in the count of 3, I want you to scream at the top of your lungs, I'm freaking awesome. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, I'm freaking awesome! Woo! Feels good, doesn't it? It feels real good, people. Woo! Yes! I love you all. I appreciate you all. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you want to do something special for me, please leave a review on iTunes. And for the individuals that are still waiting for your t-shirt, I am sending them out slowly. They will come to you. It is taking a lot longer than I expected. A lot of you guys jumped on that free t-shirt giveaway for the review, so I appreciate that full-heartedly. Maybe in the future I'll be doing that again. But for the time being, guys, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If there's anything I can do for you in the interim here, let me know personally. But with that being said, you guys freaking rock. Go out there and serve the world. And lastly, if you know of somebody that needs a little bit of awesomeness, please feel free to share this podcast and or just tell them that they're freaking awesome. Maybe that should be your compliment for the week. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Round of applause for all of you for taking the time to listen. I love you. I appreciate you. We'll see you.